This week on the show, we have American actress Tracie Thoms, who returns as her role as Lily in the blockbuster movie The Devil Wears Prada 2. Hello and welcome. Thank you so much for watching. This show is all about giving you insights and showcasing brands that help you to live your best life and give you confidence. As always, I want to kickstart your morning with some motivational advice to help you to feel inspired and energized to start your day. Today, I want to talk about the importance of understanding that your life is only as good as your mindset. The reality is, our mindset shapes the lens we see the world. When our thoughts and beliefs align with the life we want to live, life feels light and hopeful. However, when our mindset doesn't align with who we want to become, this leads to feeling perpetually stuck. But the good news is that it's never too late to create new beliefs and adopt a winning mindset, making your mission today to start prioritizing and being conscious of your inner dialogue. How do you speak to yourself daily? Do you feel empowered and energized or fearful? The more we are conscious of our inner dialogue, the faster we can change our mindset and flip negative thoughts into new empowering beliefs. As the saying goes, change your mind, change your life.
Stay tuned. Coming up after the break,
let's talk about your reprising role as Lily in The Devil Wears Prada 2. Tell us about that experience and kind of joining or rejoining the cast after almost 20 years. How was that?
It was exactly 20 years. It was crazy, because I had heard rumblings of a sequel for a long time, and I was like, okay, well, that's fine. I don't know if I'll be a part of it because, they just really focus on Meryl and Annie and Emily and Stanley. So I didn't know for the longest time if I was going to be a part of it. But then last April, late April, I got a call that Lily was still friends with Andy. So I was like, oh my God, I made the cut. It was very, very exciting and also very surreal to just step back into those shoes. And it was it felt like the most comfortable thing ever. It felt like, I tell people, it feels like when you had a pair of slippers that had molded themselves to your feet, in the back of the closet. And then years later you find them, oh my God, my favorite slippers, I thought they were gone. And your feet still fit in them. And it just feels very, very comfortable and familiar. And, our director was the same. The producers were the same. The writer was the same. Me and Anne Hathaway are the same. The cameraman was the same. We all just came back together to tell the story. And it was very cool because, in other situations, you have to pretend time has gone by. You're in 20 years later and you're acting like it's 20 years later. Where there was no acting like it was 20 years later. It was actually 20 years later. Exactly.
Wow.
So it was really interesting to see where these characters were in their lives and how they were with each other. It was really just a beautiful, fun experience.
Next up on the show, we have American actress Tracie Thoms, who returns as her role as Lily in the blockbuster movie The Devil Wears Prada 2. Tracie, thank you so much for being on the show today. How are you doing?
Thanks for having me. I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing extremely well. I'm so excited to talk to you. We have a lot to talk about. But before we get into your reprising role as Lily in The Devil Wears Prada 2, let's take it back to the beginning. When did you realize acting was something you wanted to pursue?
Well, I was an only child until I was 12 and a half. So I had to really entertain myself all the time and play games and have an imagination. And my father worked in television in a local station in Maryland. So I was always around the arts. And I don't remember going to my first play. I've always gone to plays. I've always seen movies and stuff. So I was in a dance class when I was 8 and I was very bad at it. But there was a TV show that existed when I was a kid called Junior Star Search, and where kids would compete. We had a dance competition, a stand-up comedian competition, a singing, and an acting competition. And I just watched it, and I became obsessed with being on that show. I have no idea why, because I was kind of a shy kid. But I was like, I'm going to do the acting thing. I could do that. I'll play make pretend all the time. So I went in my room and I was like, I want to take acting classes, and they were like, okay, great. And then I started taking acting class when I was 9 at the Baltimore Actors Theater. And then I switched to the Arena Players a couple years later downtown, which is the oldest continuously running community theater in America, maybe. And then I went to I kept trying to get away from acting because I thought it wasn't sustainable and I wasn't going to do it for a living. Because I didn't really see anybody look like me doing it. But it was fun for me. So then I went to a regular high school for ninth grade. I hated it. Then I transferred to the Baltimore School for the Arts. And then I was going to college, and I went to Howard University as a communications major, and I hated
Oh,
it. So, so then I switched my major to theater. Then I studied Shakespeare one summer at Oxford in England at the British American Drama Academy. And I was like, I actually really, really do love this. And then I auditioned for Juilliard, and I got in for grad school. And I was like, I guess I'm doing this. I guess acting is it. And you only do that.
well, it definitely paid off. It's been quite the journey, right, to get here.
Right. It really, really has.
And you were in the Broadway musical Rent
Mhm.
alongside Idina Menzel. Tell us about that experience, because I knew you were a fan of the show and you watched it several times before. So tell us about that experience.
Well, when I was like a senior at Howard, my then college boyfriend was a business major, and he was being courted by companies, and one of the companies got him tickets to see Rent on Broadway. So I went up and saw Rent on Broadway, fell in love with it. I saw the original cast, and then immediately started auditioning for it. Got rejected 9 times over 8 years. I mean, this was before Juilliard and after Juilliard. I kept getting rejected from Rent. But then the movie came along. I auditioned for the movie, and I got the movie first with the original cast, which was crazy, a crazy moment. And then after the movie, I closed it on Broadway. So I was the last cast on Broadway.
Oh, wow. And,
Yeah.
and you've been in dozens of TV shows and series, including Law and Order, Cold Case.
Mhm.
Annie, what's been your favorite role to date and why?
Oh, I can't. They're like almost.
I know, it's a tough question, right?
It's like picking your favorite kid. You
Yeah.
can't really do that. I love them all, but I mean, I have a Joanne from Brent is very, very close to my heart and very near and dear to me because I tried for so long to get to play her. So if I had to pick one, I would probably pick her.
Very nice. And fast forward, let's talk about your reprising role as Lily in The Devil Wears Prada 2. Tell us about that experience and kind of joining or rejoining the cast after almost 20 years. How was that?
Well, it was exactly 20 years. It was crazy. I had heard rumblings of a sequel for a long time, and I was like, okay, well, that's fine. I don't know if I'll be a part of it because, they just really focus on Meryl and Annie and Emily and Stanley. So I didn't know for the longest time if I was going to be a part of it. But then like last April, like late April, I got a call that Lily was still friends with Andy. So I was like, oh my God, I made the cut. It was very, very exciting and also very surreal to just step back into those shoes. And it was like, it felt like the most comfortable thing ever. It felt like, like I tell people, it feels like when you had a pair of slippers that had molded themselves to your feet, but they're like in the back of the closet, and then like years later you find them, like, oh my God, my favorite slippers, I thought they were gone. And your feet still fit in them, and it just feels very, very comfortable and familiar. And like our director was the same, the producers were the same, the writer was the same. Me and Annie Hathaway are the same. The cameraman was the same.
Oh, wow.
We all just came back together to tell the story, and it was very cool because in other situations, like you have to like pretend time has gone by. You're like in 20 years later, and you're acting like it's 20 years later. There was no acting like it was 20 years later. It was actually 20 years later, exactly.
Wow.
So it was really interesting to see where these characters were in their lives and how they were with each other. It was really just a beautiful, fun experience.
It sounds very nostalgic.
Yeah.
To working with the same crew. It sounds very nostalgic.
Same people. I was like, what?
Yeah.
We're all still here. None of us quit.
Yeah. And how has Lily and Andy's relationship grown over the years?
Well, if you remember in the first one, they had been friends for 16 years in the first one.
Yeah.
So they were already like just baked in with each other. You know what I mean? So they grew up together, basically. So 20 years later, having gone through all of our trials and tribulations as friends, they just their friendship just really, really deepened over the years. And it's a beautiful thing to see long-term friendships like that on screen, I think.
And this movie has such an incredible cast. Anne Hathaway, Meryl Streep. I saw an IG post that you posted, really bonding with everybody.
Yeah.
So tell us about that relationship on and off screen.
Well, our lives have taken us in very all kinds of various directions over the last 20 years. Annie and I, would see and connect with each other every now and then. I did another movie with Emily. I did Looper with Emily. So like we've spent time together then, but it's like people have gotten married, they have children now. Annie has an Oscar. It's like, it's so interesting to come back together, and everybody's so proud of each other that we've accomplished everything we've accomplished over the last 20 years.
And Tracie, you've been in this industry for decades. What's something you've learned about yourself through it all?
I've learned that I'm way more resilient than I thought.
Oh, I love that.
It takes a lot of resilience to stay in this business because the ebbs and flows so much, and it's so kind of like subjective, you know what I mean? And you have to really build a thick skin around yourself to be able to withstand everything that comes with it. The rejection, the success is also sometimes hard. The schedules are hard. The uncertainty is really, really, really hard sometimes, but it's also very exciting. Like your life could change in a day. You never know where it's going to come from. So that's exciting. You know what I mean? But yeah, it's like the point is you have to really figure out how you're going to build your life around the industry, in order to make it work for yourself. Do you know what I mean? To keep your sanity and to build your tribe and to build your family around yourself. So yeah, I never would have thought that my life would look like it looks now, but I'm so happy,
Amazing. And, how has grit and determination played a part in your success? Because I feel like, people see your success, they see you on a red carpet at the Devil Wears Prada, but I'm sure there's so much work that goes into being a successful actress. So how has failure played a part in your success?
Well, it's a part of it. You have to embrace it. You have to embrace rejection. You have to embrace not being sure what the next job is going to be. And it's very scary, but once you just really accept that your journey is for you, like your path is your path, and what's for you is what's for you. That when you're young in the business, but over time you actually live it for a while, and you have to really embrace it, that what's for you is for you. You know what I mean? And it won't miss you. What's for you will not miss you. And once you just kind of, there's a balance between having to be very, very ambitious, having to really go after it with everything you have, but also understanding that you have no control at the same time.
When I was watching clips of you on the red carpet for the Devil Wears Prada, you almost looked emotional. I feel like, how was it kind of being in that moment and seeing your dreams manifest and seeing all your hard work play out?
It's just, it's like a big pinch me moment.
Yeah.
It's like, it's the biggest thing I've experienced other than like an award show. Like I've been in the Emmys, and that was crazy. I've been to the Golden Globes. That was crazy. But this was the biggest movie premiere.
Yeah.
For it to happen like that. It was really crazy. It was just surreal the whole time. It was surreal. You know what I mean? And I talked to Meryl at the end of the night, and she was like, can you believe it? And she's still, after all these years in the business, was like, can you believe this is happening? Can you believe we're still here? Can you believe how lucky we are? I'm like, no, I can't. It's amazing. So, to have her as an example of someone who can still have wonder and awe in this business after all these years was just really a gift to me.
Very nice. And Tracie, I created my platform to inspire, to uplift, and to really showcase that anything is possible with determination and grit. So what would you say to anyone that's watching this, that's inspired by your success, and maybe is just not seeing their dreams manifest? Maybe they're going through a hard time. Maybe they're just sad. What would you say to uplift and inspire them?
You just have to really, really, first of all, when I was in school, it was very common for our teachers to say, if there's anything else that makes you happy, anything else other than acting makes you happy, do that, because this business can be really, really heartbreaking. If it is for you, if you know in your heart that this is what you're supposed to do, that you are put on this earth to tell stories and to, illuminate the human experience, if that is your journey, then you cannot be stopped. You can't let anything stop you. Like, you have to be like a runaway train.
Yeah.
You don't let parents stop you. Don't let anything stop you. You want your parents to support you, obviously. And it's very helpful when they do, because my parents really did support me. But you just have to you have to just believe in yourself. Like, you really have to just believe in yourself.
Yeah.
And know that this is what your gift is, and what your purpose is. And you just really have to be unstoppable to do it. And believe that the cream always rises.
Yes.
The cream always rises, because it doesn't know what else to do. Cream only will rise. So just fight every day to be the cream. And just have faith that your moment will come.
Absolutely. Me and my producer were just talking about someone's success in the industry who just had $100 million podcast deal. And, I was saying I'm so happy for them, because, everyone has a season, everyone has a time when it's their time to shine. And when you see someone else succeed, it's clap for them, because it just means it's possible for you, right?
Yeah.
So someone else's success is just a sign that it's possible, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Because it's like your day will come. Like, your day will come, and you don't know when it's going to be. And that's what actually is kind of exciting. So if you know when it's going to come, then it's boring. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Yes. Yeah. And Tracie, what else are you currently working on? What are your current projects?
I'm doing season 10 of 911 is coming up. We just wrapped season 9, which is very, very exciting. And we have, Devil Wears Prada in theaters all summer. And I'm in a new movie called Some Days that's coming out. I don't know, maybe next year, with Billy Bob Thornton and Pamela Anderson. I have that coming.
Nice.
I also have a movie with Chris Rock coming out called Misty Green. That's probably coming out in November. So it's just a moment where everything is coming out. It's like you have moments where you work a lot, and then you have moments where everything comes out at once. So that's what's happening right now, and it's very exciting. Oh, and also another movie called Big Baby. I'm in a horror movie called Big Baby.
Ooh.
That's doing the circuit of all the independent film circuits, the festival circuits right now.
Very nice, Tracie. That sounds all very exciting. Congratulations on all your success. Thank you so much for being on this show today. And you really are an inspiration. So thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
The Darriel Roy Show is available on Roku, Amazon Fire TV, iHeartRadio, and Apple Podcasts.